Okay, friends, I don't know if any of y'all ever read the Mandie mystery books of the 80s, but I did. This is the cookbook from that series, to which I had the author sign for my grandma. This is a 1991 edition, which would have made me 9. But today it's morning time, breakfast, and we're going to make Joe's Country Biscuits. So what's nice about it is it tells you what natural utensils that you would need. And again, the Mandie mystery books was from the early 1900s. And so everything's old school, and I love that. So you need a 3-quart mixing bowl, 2 knives, a dough board or pastry cloth. I'm using my wooden cutting board. They've got a rolling pin, a biscuit cutter, and a large, flat, shallow pan. What it doesn't say is you also need a sifter, because we're going to be doing a lot of sifting of the flours. Let me also grab my rolling pin. Ta-da! Rolling pin. Sift the flour, then measure it and re-sift it 3 times with baking powder and salt. For the recipe, you do need flour, baking powder, milk, salt, and shortening. So I have my 5 ingredients over here to my right. So we are sifting 2 cups of flour. Now we're adding in our 3 teaspoons of baking powder and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Using Celtic salt today. Now we have to sift this 3 more times. coarse salt is probably not as ground as thinly. I mean, it's actually, it says that it's a fine ground, but sifted 3 times. Now we add our shortening, cutting it into the flour with 2 knives until the particles are the size of rice grains. All right, and we've got 1/3 cup of shortening. So I'm going to use my not so old Peppered Chef. This is very monotonous. It also doesn't say that my shortening should have been cold. I don't know if maybe it should have been. I feel like I could probably do this better with a fork, and I'm going to try that instead. I think this is definitely a better route. Substitute a fork for the 2 knives and mousse your shortening into your flour. I don't know that I'm going to get it down to the size of rice grains, and that's why I think that it may have worked better if it was cold, but it doesn't say to have cold shortening. Was rice a different size back then? Because this getting to rice grain size, I just don't think it's going to happen. I'm mainly just trying to get the bigger clumps out, and then we're going to roll with it. I feel pretty good with what I've created. Alright, next we'll add all the milk at once, stir vigorously until the dough stiffens up. And we are going with 3/4 to 7/8 of a cup of milk. I guess we're just eyeballing it. Is shaking from doing all of the stirring. We're just slightly over 3/4 of a cup. And now we are going to stir vigorously. Probably should have gotten my wooden spoon for this. It'd be much more authentic. Okay, it says to turn the dough out onto our board. I am going to flour my board. Now it says to knead it 12 to 15 times. That was one. I feel good about my dough. Now we are supposed to pat or roll it out to 1 3/4 inches or 3/8 inches thick. The instructions are very precise. It's supposed to make 12 to 15 biscuits. They're very bland as far as, like, obviously there's no sugar in them or not a ton of flavoring. I could probably adjust the ingredients and use, I feel like those are appropriate size biscuits. And there's no way I'm getting 12 biscuits out of this recipe. It said to put it in a large, flat, short-sided cooking pan. So I'm using my Pampered Chef Stone, and this is going in a 450-degree oven for approximately 10 to 15 minutes. My oven is wonky, so I will start out at 8 because it burns things. It said that you could put some butter over the top of your biscuits if you so desire, and I desire, yes. The biscuits are delicious. They're light and fluffy. Got a little crunch to the bottom just because I let them get slightly brown. I put a little butter on there. They're very good. I've also got sausage and gravy that we made up, and I'm going to try some with a little bit of my red bud jelly. So y'all try out the recipe. I'll put maybe a picture of it or a link or something. I'll figure it out how to get it to you.